Hey YouTube, and welcome back to the Sneaky V YouTube channel. Last time I left you guys, I was getting my headers and intake tube here on this thing. That's the fuel line. I don't have that hooked up yet. But today I'm gonna be connecting some wiring and getting my ECU installed so that I can test it and make sure everything on it is running properly. Make sure it gets the proper firmware and all that, so that I can eventually start the engine, because the ECU is what actually runs everything on the engine. It runs the injectors, it runs the what do you call these things? The ignition coils. It basically runs everything on the engine. So I'm gonna go ahead and start getting that hooked up. And actually, I've already gotten a bunch of the wires hooked up, because that's the boring part. I didn't want to show you guys a bunch of wires. So what I have here is my positive battery cable. What that does is well, it connects directly to the positive terminal on the battery. Same with the negative. The positive battery cable actually connects to the starter down here and supplies power to the starter. The negative one, it just connects to the engine block, or the heads, the cylinder heads. I have a bunch of other wires connected to the positive battery terminal here. Those go to different things. One of them goes to this switch, which supplies the main power to the ECU. Basically, power goes into the switch, and this switch keeps that power from going to the ECU until you flip it on, basically like any other switch. I have another switch here, which actually goes from the positive power, the battery terminal there, and this one goes over to my signal, I guess, wire on the alternator here, and that's what tells the alternator to actually push the plunger out to engage the flywheel and start the engine. There's a third one on here, I believe, that goes back to the fuel pump, and is what's powering the fuel pump. So yeah, those are the three that's on the positive side, and the negative side just has a bunch of grounds. The positive side also has like the main power cable to the ECU. The negative side has the negative power side to the ECU. Those have to be connected directly to the battery terminal, because the ECU needs clean power straight from the battery. I have a few more little things that I need to tie up before I jump straight into it, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I need to get the ground for my fuel pump here connected to the engine. Let me move this engine out the way. It's heavy. So I'm just gonna connect it right back here where this other ground is there. So I think what I'm gonna do is set you guys down for a minute and hop onto that. Let me get you guys on your stand here. See, because I can't really do it with one hand, so I'm just gonna set you guys up on the stand and set you right here while I do that real quick. So I need my wrenches, and they are over here. All right, so I got my excuse me. I have my fuel pump, the negative from my fuel pump. Excuse me again. Going to my ground on my cylinder, my cylinder head there, and I have the power source from my ground connected to this green wire, which actually powers the powers the fuel pump through the through the wiring harness here. Get that out of the way. So the fuel pump is connected, and let me set you guys back down again. The next thing that I need to do is actually get my ECU. I have it sitting here. So this is actually my ECU. It is the Holley Dominator ECU. It's a big guy. It has a lot of ports here that you gotta plug different things into, and each of them have their own little, keyway, so you can only plug certain things in. But this is one of the top of the line ECUs that you can get. Like, it costs a pretty good amount. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this plugged in, and yeah, like, I don't really have to do any whole bunch of wiring for this because it's all terminated on the harness there. So I'll bring you guys over here and let you guys watch me get this plugged in. So let's see, where are you guys looking at right now? So let's get that out of the way. This guy has several plugs. I'm trying to keep you guys steady right now. It's hard to work with this camera and use my hands at the same time. But basically, these plugs here are what plug into your ECU, and there's about there can be up to, like, 6 of them, plus the main power cable here. And so these go probably here, no, here, and here. So these are spaces J1A and J1B. J1A and J1B, they control certain things about the car. I can't tell you right off the top of my head what things they actually control, but yeah, that's just how it works. They're each keyed in a certain way so that you can only plug them into certain spots. And this one goes into J3 here. So this would be J2A and this would be J2B. Like J1A and J1B, J2A, J2B. This one's just J3 and this one's J4. That is the main power one. That's where you plug your battery in it. So the next one I have here is the one that goes into, I believe, J2A here. Yep, plug right in. And I may have another one around here. I don't remember. No, there were a couple that were just like didn't have anything plugged into them. And so, like, the last one here will be my power cable, and that just plugs in there. I believe J4 here powers, it controls an electric transmission, like a 4L60E or 4L80E, but I don't have electronically controlled transmission. My transmission is going to be manual. I forget exactly what this one does, but that's all connected. I have all of my cables to my, I keep forgetting what these things are called. My ignition coils, to my fuel injectors, my sensors. This is a fuel pressure sensor. Back here is my oil pressure sensor. I don't know if you guys can see that. My coolant temperature sensor, cam sensors on the front here. All of that's connected. This is my manifold air temperature sensor. It's not really connected to anything because I don't have a port for it to plug into, but it's just gonna read the regular outside air temperature. So from there, basically everything is connected, and I can pretty much apply power. It is a really nerve-wracking thing to apply power to a $3,400 ECU, but it's got to be done at some point. So here's my battery that I went and bought specifically for this purpose, and I'm just going to scoop this to the side. Check around back again, make sure nothing is touching where it shouldn't be. Make sure all of my cables are plugged in. And all these hoses and stuff that you see are actually, these are heater hoses. They go to your heater core, come from your water pump here. This hose here is actually a breather. It's connected to both heads. You see this red tube here, comes from this one, comes from the back side of this one, and it both meets at this black hole and goes off to a breather. If you guys can see that there. But anyways, I got my throttle pedal that I'm going to be using down here. And let me check this real quick. So let's get this thing connected to battery power here. Let me move you guys around a little bit so you can see better. Angle you guys down. And the worst possible thing that could happen here is like I connect this to the power and I get white smoke from anything, basically. Because I have a very expensive ECU back there connected to all this. And white smoke is not what you want to see in this situation. So positive on, and I'm not going to clamp these down just yet. So that's connected, and nothing's smoking. Everything's wired correctly pretty much. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go back here and connect my USB cable to my ECU. Let's unscrew this. USB cable plugs into here, and it kind of screws in. So that connects, that USB cable actually connects the ECU to my little computer here. So let's get this guy turned back on. And my computer is what's going to load the software onto the ECU. Now, as you can see, it has the Holly EFI software already pulled up. So let's close that out and go back in. And I'm gonna open this file that I named stock 7-liter LSX drive-by-wire. And normally, if you haven't updated your ECU, it'll pop up a screen saying that, like, if you have a different software version from the one that's on the ECU, it'll error out and say you have a conflict. But this one's all updated and stuff. So now what I can do is go down here to my switches, and this red one here, I'm gonna switch it on. And what you hear back there is my fuel pump actually going. This thing is actually programmed to run the fuel pump for a few seconds as soon as you turn the car key on. And it primes the fuel pump. It gets some fuel in the line, and it primes everything and gets it ready to go, so that, like, you have fuel pressure when you go to start the engine. So while I'm not going to start the engine this time, because I can't. This little stand here isn't like, it's not set up to start an engine on. It's just not. It doesn't have it. I am gonna walk you through a few of the things that's going on here. So like, if you can see in there, my throttle body, you actually have to go through a little process called the TPS auto, what is it called? TPS auto correct, I believe. Auto, anyways, what it does is it calibrates your throttle body and your pedal here so that they can work together. I've already gone through and done that, so I'm not about to do it again, but I will show you how it actually works. If you guys can see down in there, I'm going to press the throttle pedal here, and you should see the throttle plate open there. And it opens about as much as I press the pedal. It can open a little bit, close, open full throttle, and yeah, that's all there is to that. It is drive-by-wire, so that's a electronic pedal, electronic throttle body. So the only thing that's really left with this engine is to start it up. I can't start it up right now because there's no fuel here. I mean, there's a gas can right there, but there's nothing in it. And like I said before, this little stand that I have the engine on currently probably can't handle starting an engine on. Like, the torque from it would probably take the whole engine and just like rock it so far that way that it will end up on its side, and it's kind of heavy. I don't know if I could pick it back up. What I can do, however, is take my other switch that's connected to the starter here. It is a momentary switch. That means like you flip it, and if you let it go, it goes back to its normal position. It is normally off, and I have that going from my battery to my starter. And before I do that, what I'm gonna do is go back up here and open my gauges up on the screen here. Let me sync this. All right, I got that synced. Now open up my gauges. Now what I should see is all of my parameters come up on these gauges here, but doesn't seem to be wanting to work right now. So let's see. Well, if I can't get it working, I'm gonna go ahead and like flip this back off, then on. There goes the fuel pump again. And now let's see. All of that passed. Anyways, I can't get like all the parameters, the air fuel mixture and stuff to come up on the screen right now. But I'm gonna go ahead and hit my little momentary switch here, which would start the engine normally if I had any gas in it and all of that. And just let it turn over for a second. And it turns over just fine. Everything sounds clear. I do have a lot more stuff to really like get connected before it's ready to run. Maybe reinforce this stand somehow to see if I could run it on this stand for a few minutes, but I don't want to run it, you know, really much at all. I just want to make sure it'll run, because I think it would be a good idea to know if it would run for sure before I go to stick it in the car. But I don't want to overheat it. It does have oil in it, break-in oil. So there's that. But I don't want to overheat the thing by having it running on this stand without a radiator or anything like that, and destroy it before I get it in the car. So for right now, it's just at the cranking portion of its life. I can go ahead and switch this back off. Let's see. Actually, I want to see if I can get my sensors working. USB link, that's all passed. Save file. Let's reopen this. Let's close out. Open it back up. Resync. Everything passed. USB link is good. It's kind of weird. I don't know why it's not reading the oh, there they go, right there. So as you can see, the air fuel, apparently the air fuel mixture is 28.4 to 1, I guess. The boost is 0, obviously. Miles per hour is disabled. RPM is at stall. It's not running right now. Oil pressure is -0 somehow. Air temperature is 70. That was probably the only one that's right. Map is 98 kPa, which is probably right as well. Fuel pressure is 0, obviously, because there's no fuel in it. I'm gonna turn it over again real quick, and you can actually see the RPMs go to around like 200, I think. So like 140, and oil pressure went up to 4, 3, 2. It's dropping off slowly. Let's see, how high did the oil pressure actually go? Oil pressure is actually climbing pretty quick, so that's good. I don't really know how to check right now. I have to look it up how to see if I have cam signal, but I'm sure I have a signal from my crank because I got an RPM. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. I got some oil leaking out of my oil filter here. I'm gonna have to figure that out why that's leaking. But at least I got oil pressure. I'm gonna have to top up my oil. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have today. The thing is wired up. Well, not permanently wired up. I'm obviously gonna take all this back loose when it goes into the car and redo it. So let's go ahead and switch that back off. Disconnect these cables because I don't want anything happening while I'm away. And yeah, it turns over. Everything seems to work fine so far. So there's that. That's all I wanted to show you guys today. I'm making progress on this thing. What I need to do now is still need to get my transmission bought. I'm still saving up for that, but I keep having to spend money on things, including this battery here. This computer, I had to buy that, of course. Yeah, I'm gonna have to buy some more oil because I think I've lost about probably half a quart, maybe a quart to that leaking. I gotta figure out why that's leaking from the fuel filter here. It's a remote fuel filter, and it's got these tubes that let you place it somewhere else in the car that's like not the standard because of the way of my the way that my fuel my freaking oil pan down there is shaped. I can't place it directly on the oil pan. But anyways, that's leaking. I gotta get that fixed, figure out why it's leaking, and we'll see where it goes from there. But anyways, for right now, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time I'm back on, and maybe by then I'll have a transmission. So anyways, send your friends my way. I could use the subscribers and the views. Again, thank you for watching and have a good one.